So let's talk about why I own an Alpina Seastrong 10. Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches, and another in my series of Why This Watch. And today, why do I have a vintage Alpina Seastrong 10? Before I go on, really important to get this through. These Why This Watch episodes are not watch reviews. I am not in any way trying to be careful about hitting all the specs or all the standards. I'm not going to try and critique the watch at all. This is very personal and about what this watch means to me and why I have this watch. So with all that said, let's get into it and I'll see you at the end. Bye. So why have I got a 1969 Alpina Seastrong 10? Well, this story really starts with this watch, which is a current model Alpina Star Timer Heritage. This was the first watch I really bought, having got into watches. I had just recently got into watches. I came across this in an ADs. I fell in love with it. I did some more research on it. I ended up really liking it and buying this watch. This watch got me into Alpina as a brand and made me start paying attention to a brand I had never heard of before. And after buying this watch, I ended up buying this watch, which is the Alpina Seastrong Heritage. Now, this is a reproduction of an early, sort of reissue of an late 1960s, early 1970s watch. It's a fairly faithful reproduction, modernized in a few ways, made it a little bit bigger, got sapphire instead of mineral crystal, that sort of thing. They changed the date window, which some people find very, very upsetting. I personally don't care, but I quite like it. But from the moment I saw this watch, all the press materials also showed the older watch, also showed the original from which it came. And I instantaneously fell in love with that original, which brings me now to the watch I'm actually talking about. This is the original Alpina Seastrong 10 from 1969. Unbeknownst to me, this watch kind of became a grail. I kind of snuck into it. I didn't mean it to be. I had no intention of making this the watch I would be lusting after and searching for the next 4 years. It just, that's what it became. And why did it? I think it's because a couple of reasons. One, it was an important watch to a brand I became interested in and started collecting. It also marked kind of the end of the glory years, the end of the high point years of Alpina as a brand. And its modern reproduction, the new Seastrong Heritage, also became something of a marker of the reintroduction, of the re-emergence of that brand. Combine all of that, this watch kind of became emblematic of both a death and a rebirth. On top of that, it's just a really stunningly beautiful watch. I am kind of a sucker for this super compressor style. It is a style of watch which, you know, having been a diver myself years ago, would have been an absolute pain in the ass to use. And I would never use this as a dive watch, but as a diver bull watch, which I will wear in lots of other environments. This is a style of watch, a form of watch, which I absolutely really love. I could actually see myself in a different world or a different environment. I could actually see myself becoming nothing but a super compressor collector, just having a big collection of nothing but super compressor watches. There's just something kind of special about them. And this one in particular, given that its age, given its design period, is just so interesting, so modern. I love that the way you've got this sort of multi-text, the various shapes, the complex geometry of the dial, this soft cushioning out of the dial, very soft, this very faint satin finish on the dial. If you get really close, I will try, but I'm not sure if it will come through. This kind of almost linen effect on the dial, which slowly dips down towards the border of the inner rotating bezel, which then arcs up again towards the outer case of the bezel. It's just this combination, and then the big arrow hour hand, the nice long delicate looking but very precise minute hand. It's just, there's so much about this that I just think is super attractive. It is, forget all the history, forget the importance of this watch to the brand, forget all that sort of stuff. It's a really attractive watch. But the point is, I don't have to forget all of that history, all of that heritage, all of that importance, because it's there as well. So why is this my watch? Because it's interesting, because it's important, because it's a watch that marks important steps in this brand's life, that marks its successor, marked the rebirth of this brand. And on top of that, it's really attractive. It's really pretty. It's a watch I enjoy wearing. I will show you, since I can do this now, to show you the difference between the two. Obviously, you can see anti-reflective coating has come on a long way. The watches are quite different sizes. Hard to tell whether they're actually different colors or whether they've just aged slightly differently. I think the modernizing, what they've done to modernize it is not inappropriate given the time. And I think if I was buying the new watch now, I would not want it the same size as the old watch. I like the vintage watch in a vintage size, but I wouldn't want a new watch in this size. So is this watch too small for me at, oh, by the way, it's 37 millimeters? No, it is not, but I'm glad that the new one is bigger. I've got this weird thing. I think bigger watches, modern watches should have modern sizing. Vintage watches should have vintage sizing, and mixing and matching the two I don't find particularly satisfying. So anyway, wrap all this up. I'm not doing a critique, not doing a review, just talking about why this watch. That's why this is my watch. It's pretty, it's beautiful, it's important. It's important to my collection. It's just all in all, an incredibly satisfying watch to own, to wear, and that's why this is my watch. So, as I say at the end of every video, I've been Pete McConville, this has been Not So Obvious Watches, and that was why I own an Alpina Seastrong 10. I'll see you later. Bye.